Hello, my fellow writers. It's me, Jel, or some call me Pika Lee. I hope you have been working much harder on your craft these last few weeks than I have. I have been seriously slacking. But as you can see, this follow-up video is the second part to the first one that I put out a few months ago about my experience taking a UCLA Writers Program drama writing class. Let's face it, online courses have gotten so much easier and smoother, and Canvas is no different. You can access it from an app on your phone, or you can access it from home on a web browser, and you could easily download each lecture into a PDF and save it for reference later, or for reference sometime after the course is ended, which I really loved about it. I've even had access to this portal for up to a year past having the class. I found that the professor and instructor was really easy to contact and to email, so I was reaching out to my classmates for anything, and I found that she was very quickly responsive, and that was something that I really liked. Being online, you'd think that it'd be hard to get a hold of someone because you could easily miss a message, you're not there in person for them to know who you are and recognize the face. And with some instructors doing multiple courses, you'd think they wouldn't have enough time to just one-on-one get back to you on a question that you had. But I found that she was great. She really got back to me quick, and everything was super easy. My instructor was great. She got back to each and every message that I sent her. She was really good about following up and reading each and every one of our submittals, and she was also really great with encouraging us in the feedback that we gave our peers. And she really guided us with those lectures. They were really well thought out, and they put into practice a lot of what she had already been through in the industry, which is something that you go to UCLA for. The fact that the instructors have had previous training that we don't have. Someone who's still working or did work not so long ago in the field that could really direct you. I think that it's not the same feeling that you would get as getting a one-on-one teacher where that divine attention goes straight into solely your writing, but I'd say this was close enough to what I did want in a responsive instructor to give me personal feedback on what I was writing and how my progress was going. So what was the content? I don't want to get into too much of what was said and what was done because it's really worth it to experience everything from the instructor herself rather than hearing it from someone else and trying to jump ahead and assume you understand everything about the course before you've taken it. I think that it's really worth it to just go along with the course as if it's completely new, let it be a surprise, enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. But that being said, it was a 1-hour drama spec writing course, which means that I did have to choose my 1-hour spec. I chose the OA, which I think I said previously, but in case you're new to this video and you just wanted to skip all that, the OA was what I chose to do my spec off of. It was in its freshman year when I chose it. It had just ended and was announced that they were going to do a second season. But generally you don't want to choose something in its freshman year because, as I found out later, the second season was nothing like what I wrote. But I'm still really happy that I got through and I spec'd it, and that was what came from me. So week after week, we learned to cultivate an idea based off of a show. We learned to create a series Bible for it of what we already knew so that we had something to kind of go off of when we did begin writing. We had to also take that idea and expand upon it. So the first week would be possibly just getting the idea together, and the second week would be expanding on that idea. The third week would be writing your beat sheet, learning what a beat sheet was. It was taking into account story arcs, taking into account A, B, and C stories, which if you don't know what A, B, and C stories are, they can go almost the whole alphabet depending on how many characters you've got in your show, and they're just a letter of the alphabet that sort of prioritizes what storylines you're going with. A few other things that she covered was imagery and why you choose specific locations in your script. There was a lot of revising of acts. There was a whole lot of readying your spec as an outline so that when you went into the next course, you would just pick up from where you left off to continue writing it on through until you wrote the actual script. I did go ahead and once we finished the class, I wrote my OA script, Loneliest, and I don't know how I did because I haven't read it in quite a while. I wanted to sit on it before I did a revision, but I am excited that I got a lot of it done through the outlining because I felt confident when I went into writing, which brings me to the last bit that I want to talk to you about. All in all, this course offered so much that I can't possibly tell you more without completely spoiling and ruining the offerings that they have to give to you. I highly recommend it if you are thinking about writing a spec for a fellowship program or just want to have a spec sample and you're going into the television writing field and you want to do staff writing. I think that this particular course is something that's a little bit more of an intermediate course or advanced course. It's not something you'd want to jump into if you're a very beginner. I'd really recommend just learning the basics of writing a feature before you go into writing a television spec or a television pilot, because there's so much to gain from learning how to write a script as a whole, even a feature or a short film, because there's so much that you have to pack into one story that will translate into any other story that you may write, whether it's even a book or a short film, a feature film, a television pilot, a television spec. They all seem to run along the same structure of just creating a 3-act structure. Whether or not you're going to turn it into 4-act breaks or 5-act breaks, that's just a little bit more of an advanced format. It's not really anything that's going to teach you about how to write a proper story. And a proper story and a proper plot is something that you need in every piece of writing. And it's something that you need to learn before you go into formatting and intertwining multiple storylines. I hope that if you're on the fence, this video really helped you out in deciding whether or not you wanted to take it. It's a little bit of a pricey course, but for the fact that you don't have to apply and enroll and get an acceptance letter, pay any money, any fees, is fantastic. The fact that you can go to a prestigious college like the UCLA, even as an extension program, is a very, very valuable resource. And I think that taking this course has really opened up my eyes on how much more I can achieve by taking a whole bunch more of these courses. So let me know what you thought down below. Now it's time for me to go because I've got a piece of cake calling my name and a K-drama to catch up on. See you next time. What?